Well, good morning to you. And as always, we have to do the segment. Nilante Vanderpoel is a member of parliament for the Ododo constituency. He's here. Thanks for joining me, sir.
Thank you very much.
And Emmanuel Chamantingejaku is a member of parliament for the Ayawaso West Wagon constituency, who apparently, coincidentally, is also bearing a chief of, I believe, the Labaolesh area. And as the MP or custodian for the constituency, had made sure that all the necessary accoutrement and arrangement will be made for that successful burial. He has to be there, though, but has found time to be with us this morning. But we all know that we're in a period of mourning our own Kwejo Asarabafwe Champong. And I believe that well, the two of them had appeared on this program, and usually you'll find Mr. Chamantingejaku having a segment on that program always. That is, if he can find the time, and always arguing on top of his voice, like he always does. But let me just give them a time to say a word or two before we continue. And I start with you, Mr. Chamantingejaku.
Well, thank you for having me. Good morning to you and to Nilante and to all that are viewing us. I was in Kufudia.
The post-budget hearing.
Post-budget hearing.
What do you call it?
Workshop. Post-budget
workshop.
Workshop, yeah. When one of my colleagues came in and said that, and mentioned that Kaba had died. I mean, I thought they were talking about another Kaba, not the Kaba I know on radio. So I said, oh, which Kaba is this? Where is he from? He says, Kaba Ekosi is saying. I was startled. I was startled. First and foremost, I knew he was quite heavily built, but I had no idea he had any pathologies. He was not well at all. It's difficult. The only thing anyone can say is may he rest in peace. And I think he got married like a year or 2 years ago.
No, just a year.
Just a year.
Has a 6-month-old baby girl. I think it will even be less than a year. Let's say just a year. Or just around this time before the elections.
I think that is for me the real disconcerting part. A young wife and a young baby, you know. I think that is the most disconcerting part. But you know, life is some way. Life is some way, and ultimately it is only God, the Maker, who understands. God is his own interpreter, and we'll give it up to him. May he rest in peace. May his young wife and baby be consoled. And
at the frontages of Joy FM, at the reception really, we have a book of condolence. You also find it at the residence of Kwejo Asarabafwe Champong Kaba. And we decided to bring the book to the studio because we also want you after the show to always go to the reception of Joy FM and sign that book. An organization or individual can always do that, just in case that what better way to pay homage to him than in front of the cameras and in the studio. And so we're opening the book for you first. You write your own, whilst Nilante Vanderpoel Honorable, who was also my boss at GBC, trained journalist, now training to become a lawyer too, if you can. A legislator, a very popular man. So you just write your, but just give us your word as well, because we're all familiar with him and his work.
Roland, it's unfortunate, and as a broadcaster, when it comes to this, it becomes difficult for you to be able to really express your emotions, because you are not supposed to even show your emotions on air. But let me take the opportunity first to say good morning to the chiefs and people of my constituency, and also to all our friends, especially to the GJA, for such a great loss. I'm down because this is a young man who simplifies what we call humility in fame. In spite of his popularity, very humble, very respectful. I've shared one or two with him, or let me say he has consulted me on several occasions from the time he started broadcasting, and I've shared a lot with him. Apparently, he also got married to my daughter. I work with her in Radio Gold, and I used to train them at our training center there. And so I'm very close to the family. He respects me a lot, and when they got to know that I also schooled in the Bronga-Afo region, our relationship became even stronger. I never thought that Kaba would leave so soon. I've had cause to caution him about his weight. And so at the time, I drew out some exercise regime for him, simple exercises, and that's how close we were. I was shocked when I heard the news. Just like my senior brother said, I was rather on my way closer to the function when I had a little freak accident. You know, a car just knocked me off. So
you were on your way to Kofodia?
Yes.
So had to return?
I've just gotten to Nankese, getting to Nkwedum. So that time the president was also on his way to Kofodia. So we got assistance from the police, and all the cars were taken back to Suhum police station, MTTU. So I was there when one policeman just came to me and said, "Ni, have you heard?" I said, "What?" "Your friend just passed." I said, "Which friend?" I said, "Kaba." I said, "What are you talking about?" "At the police station." I said, "What are you talking about?" So immediately I started making calls. I called my wife because my wife is like a Kaba freak. She listens to Kaba religiously every day. I've even had a problem with her because she's made it such a way that the car we use
it's always on.
It's always there, and you cannot tune to any other station.
That is if the two of you are sitting.
Maybe I want to listen to some other Joy. She is still on us. So that's how close we are as a family. I am really down, and I'm thinking about what a wife's situation will be like. Young, brilliant lady. We used to meet almost every day in Parliament because she was parliamentary correspondent.
Is she still?
Yes, the wife. And almost every day, I tease her almost all the time. Former member of Parliament for Madina, Surogo, was also very close to her, so we used to tease ourselves almost all the time. I think his death should be a source of worry to all of us, especially those of us who are involved in this stressful job, to take our health much more serious. And I think also to all Ghanaians to know that you don't really know what your health situation will be if you don't check up. So we should constantly check our health status and try and contact the appropriate, medics, doctors or paramedicals and things, and see what sort of advice you have. I wish we are not even doing the program. I wish
we have to do the program because life has it in such a way. You also have the executive bench. Chairman Ting has, but you don't.
No, I'm not the shadow minister for energy.
Oh, that's a digger thing. It's not fair. We'll talk about energy. Energy.
That's my senior brother. Our senior brother is a minister. So
is there something like that
in our governance structure? No. Kapwenya.
Have you forgotten that there was a shadow vice president?
Well, he said that about himself.
There was a shadow vice president.
Yeah, he said that, but
during the John Mahama led government, I didn't know.
No, I think it's a long story. But if I have another minute on this matter, I would suggest, it is now that I'm hearing something
more
about
details.
His health and his health status and all of this. I would suggest that probably Joy FM and people of like mind, I don't mind joining a situation like this, should create a little foundation in his memory just to educate young males, adult males.
You mean young professionals?
Young professional adult males.
Or even females.
Kaba was sometimes, I must admit, I think that sometimes the females are a little bit more careful about their health than the males. Kaba was under 40 years.
It was actually 37, going by his age. Yeah.
And I think that we need to do a little bit more education on the health of middle age, approaching middle age professionals. There is a notion that hypertension and diabetes are diseases of old people. It is not true. I think the sad passing away of our very dear friend, very, very, very dear, very decent lad, very, very decent, very extremely decent. I was telling somebody yesterday that in this nation, in this very politically charged nation, if people cannot place you, particularly if you're a journalist, then it means you're a good journalist. I have heard people accuse Kaba of being NPP. I've heard people accuse Kaba of being NDC.
I've heard that too.
It means that for me, in my interaction with him, and I want to say that since 2009, I have been doing Ekusise. It was Bobier and then it became him. I think Kaba is a very decent, extremely decent, straightforward a journalist. It didn't matter what he needed to ask, he was at it. All right.
Of which political affiliation?
Yes. Very decent, very extremely decent, honest young man. But I would want to emphasize that maybe we should all look into the possibility of doing this. You see, I was just speaking in the anteroom. Hypertension, diabetes, all of these lifestyle diseases don't present symptoms. The other thing is that I think that a lot of us have problems with compliance. They give you the medicine, you take it for a little while, and because there are no symptoms, you forget about it until it strikes. What we need to understand is we must educate people.
Mr. Chairman, you are the professional because you're a trained pharmacist,
yes.
And so. But at the end of the day, we have, while perhaps mediums and platforms will be created for that sort of education, we also have the same quasi-mediums and platforms giving platform to religious leaders, people of semi-quack nature who, so to speak, appeal to people's professional health and the way they live, saying that, well, on the side, you go to church and they're telling you God will keep you, and if you don't have any symptoms at all, it means that God is keeping you well. So you have, for example, a professional pastor. Well, a pastor will tell you, for me, 10 years, I haven't been to the hospital. And that kind of notion tends to always be with us, and we feel it's more important to pray than to go to the health professional.
I believe in God. I believe he is all-knowing, he is all-powerful, and nothing is too difficult for him. Great God of wonders, I believe that. But the same God has also given us knowledge. If you are hypertensive, you are hypertensive. If you have a metabolic disease like diabetes, you have a metabolic disease like diabetes. Go to the hospital and take your medicines. I am a pharmacist. I am telling you, anybody who will tell you that just do some exercise and take some herbs and is not true. Look, the increasing incidence of kidney disease is all because of too much alcohol, number one, and also because people are misled. Go and take some bitters, go and take some concoction. I think that all of us must be serious now. Indeed, I volunteer myself to be part of any organization that will begin this. I am past that critical age. God willing, I'll be 60 in a
God
few
bless
weeks.
you. God bless you.
You know.
Wow.
You don't look it.
But I want
You
to
also
tell,
don't
I
look
want
it
to tell everybody in Ghana,
Uh.
I am hypertensive in the last 14, 15 years, but I pop my pills every day. Even my blood sugar is not too good. It's under surveillance. I do exactly what the doctor asked me to do. I go to church, I pray, I pay my tithes. I believe God is a miracle working God, but I have hypertension.
And that's real.
I take care of it. I go every 3 months, I go to the doctor to see whether the medicine is working well. I do this regularly. Don't let anybody deceive you. Don't let the people who would come and tell you that I don't take the medicine behind, they also take the medicines. Look, I've had experience from the Food and Drugs Board. People will come and tell you that, oh, there's a local natural medicine that you can use as an aphrodisiac. We have tested it and have found it contains chemicals, Western quote-unquote allopathic medicines. It contains medicines for erectile dysfunction. But they'll come and deceive you and tell you it is a local medicine for aphrodisiac. All of those, I wouldn't say, I may be stretching it too far. Most of them are just schemes to deceive and make money into people's pockets. I think we must become serious about the public health. We must become extremely serious about health education. I know this for a fact.
People go and cook back of trees and put sildenafil in it, and they say that.
People go and put the back, exactly.
And put sildenafil.
And put sildenafil, Viagra in it, and come and sell it to you.
And so no painting. Well, let's move on. Let's move on. But there's a.
And let me say to the good people of Baolishi that I stand with them on the passing away of the regents.
There's no dispute there. As you mentioned, Regent, my heart kept popping.
No
dispute.
A venerable chief.
There will be no fight.
Excuse me.
There will be no fight.
I don't believe so. Professor Monkote, when I was in the university many years ago, he was dean of the Faculty of Social Science. An extremely kind and a gentleman. I mourn with the good people of Baolishi. From here, I'll join them at the service.
Roland, just to see a little what Uncle, it has prompted my curiosity. You see, for the past 2 weeks, I've had sudden deaths of 3 very, very close friends.
Yeah.
My own brother, Reverend Dr. O. We all traveled outside. We came back the same day. We talked in the evening, and then he called me and said in the morning he would want to come and see me for us to discuss something. And the next morning he was gone. Gone.
How old was he?
52. Yeah. The son of the brother of former MP for Dodorio, Honorable Taki Kome, Wallace, is the chairman of the Greater Accra Amateur Boxing Association. We're sitting down at somebody's party. After the party, drove his car home. The next 5 minutes, my head is gone. A lady, Yabo, we talked together. We were sitting down, everything. She went home the next morning. And all the 3 doctors have traced to be cardio-related. So it is serious because these are young people. In the past, when you hear somebody passing from heart disease or something, the person will be about 17, 9, Yeah. So it is something that we need to seriously look at as a country. Maybe, I don't know, he's a pharmacist of it. I don't know whether it's the food we are eating. I don't know the lifestyle.
They are called lifestyle diseases.
And we must take a look at it. We must take a look at it.
You see, Roland, let's give a little time to this. In the past, you would die from a communicable disease. When you were 30, you get a typhoid or malaria, and it will kill you. Today, the communicable diseases are quite well contained, reasonably well contained. Okay, people still die from bacterial infections, unfortunately, but then we have changed our lifestyles. We are sitting down too much. We have become too sedentary. We are eating all sorts of foods. We are doing all sorts of things that is created what they call the lifestyle diseases. Hypertension and diabetes are the leading ones. And I am saying, unfortunately, they are rather symptomless. When people have hypertension, they will occasionally get a headache. Yes, so before you realize your blood pressure may be 200 over 180, it will just rupture a vessel in your head, and in my head, by the time you get to the hospital, you are dead. I am saying that, I think that even though the National Health Insurance Fund is quite challenged, we must find some to make health education, to bring health education to the fore. Hypertension is not for old people. Anybody, 16-year-olds can get hypertension. It is called essential hypertension. Nobody really understands the etiology. Nobody really understands how it comes up.
They don't understand the etiology.
Yeah, nobody understands it. It is not, in spite of all the science we know, but there are multiple factors. And all the three he's talking about, I am sure if they do the postmortems, they will find it is
very related.
In fact, the third person when I mention, you will even be surprised. You may know him, Yao Yafe. I've sat on this program and used him as an example before. Finished tech, got his master's, but decided to go to Kaishi and deal in liver product distribution.
Yeah.
He's won several awards as liver distributor of the year, Nestle distributor of the year.
Oh, I know him.
Yao Yafe.
Yeah, you said
he's my mate. He died
at tech.
He's an engineer.
Engineer. He was supposed. He started work. He was employed in Ghana Water, but stopped.
I know him.
Oh, it's a great recollection.
And he's almost like a brother to. In fact, he inspired me to take education seriously. He's a big brother. I see him as a brother. Up to today, I'm just like him. So sometimes he's very close to Honorable Dangote.
Yeah,
he got me closer to Honorable Dangote.
He passed.
He's passed. Yesterday, I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. The wife said nothing, just my head. My head. Baya is gone. It's getting me worried. It's gotten me really, really worried. And I don't know, but you, the scientists and the pharmacists and the medical doctors.
I am saying, Roland, that we need to take health education seriously. I think what is complicating it is like the two things you said. A so-called alternative medicine practitioners, they will tell you that you don't need, when you take they call it the chemical medicines.
This weekend, my pastor said, me 10 years I haven't been to, so I said, so if I go to the hospital, it means that I'm a weak Christian, because that's what.
Oh, come on.
I'm a weak Christian, because if I go to a roll and walk, I go to hospital. Whilst I come Sunday, listen to my pastor, it's a problem. But let's move on. There's on page 44 of the Daily Graphic, it says use relevant channels to deal with challenges. And the Ghana Education Service has urged heads of senior high schools in the country that have specific concerns to use relevant channels to liaise with them to deal with these concerns. And we know that it's in a reaction to a lead story of the Daily Graphic in the Monday edition of the paper, that was yesterday, in which the acting Director General of the Ghana Education Service, Professor Kwesi Opukwa-Mankwa, said the attention of the GA was drawn to a news report by an outgoing president of CHAS. And CHAS is the Conference of Assisted
Conference of Heads of
Assisted Heads or Conference of Heads of Assisted Secondary Schools. Now they've written senior high school. Okay, Mrs. Cecilia Kwachi Kofi, and she was speaking at speech and prize giving day of the Winneba Senior High School, and said there were challenges with senior high school, etc. And now we have all these rebuttals coming. And they said they were not getting the right food supplies. The food supplies were also not coming in. Dormitories were not available. Children were sleeping outside. And other challenges of other infrastructure for furniture and provision of textbooks, etc. Let's talk briefly about this. We know we have to do the transition. It's very difficult. Let me start with you, Mr. Tremantin Ngejaku, on the subject.
Well, I didn't read too much about what the lady said, but yesterday I took time to read the response of the Ministry of Education, and I think it places for me in perspective. Look, Roland, first and foremost, she speaks about arrears in the previous year. Okay. Thankfully, the ministry has said that we have paid the arrears, we are processing to pay the arrears for the last term, the third term of the previous academic year. Okay. As for the current year, for the first years, I think adequate provision has been made for them. She also spoke about the fact that some of the children say they are all Ghanaians and they should enjoy the free education. So, in any case, children are supposed to pay school fees. Assuming that there was no free SHS, they would still have had to pay school fees, and the heads of the schools should use that school fee so paid to manage. Okay, but it is important for us to state, and on this note, let me state: the president at the launch of the program stated quite clearly that we will falter, but we will not fail. Roland, nothing is easy. Nothing is easy in our own lives. When we have to manage our own domestic budgets, it is not easy. We all make choices. Like me sitting here, like my brother, I believe that the school he went to, his children don't go to the same school. He has decided that he will give his children a better opportunity than he did get from his parents. Okay, so the call on his budget will be severe. Roland, we are not sitting here and tickling ourselves and saying that the implementation of this SHS program will be easy. From what I am reading from the budget statement, for this academic year, for the remaining 2 terms, for this academic year and the first term, I believe that this nation must commit probably between 1.6 to 1.8 billion Ghana cedis.
1.6 to 1.8.
This is money that could have done the Kumasi dualize the Kumasi Accra road. But leadership is about choices. Leadership is about options appraisal and making a choice. His Excellency the President has determined that I could have used that money to build, to make the road. But I believe that if I invest it in educating the Ghanaian child, it will express in an improved GDP, and out of that we will be able to build the road. His Excellency the President has made a right choice. All of us sitting here, I believe that we can say that our parents went through the same thing. My mother was a humble, poor primary school teacher who had to contend with 5 children. She failed to buy cloth. She couldn't even do her hair because she thought the priority was to pay the school fees. Today, if she wanted 10 houses, it would have been built for her. So you make choices. This government has decided that we will do free SHS because the history is there for everybody to see all over the world. The countries that have gotten to where they are, this is the path they took. And His Excellency the President has decided that just as how America has become what it is, Malaysia has become what it is, Singapore has become what it is, we will take the same step. We are not tickling ourselves to say it is easy. We know that there will be challenges. When Kwame Nkrumah decided that primary school must be free in the early I think 59 or 1960, there were not enough classrooms. That is how come shift started. Today, several professors and doctors all went to shift school.
I went to shift school.
So did it disadvantage you in any way? Maybe if Kwame Nkrumah had not taken that bold decision, you, Roland, would not have gone to school. We are saying, I hear about Kuragogo. That is where I come from. It is a challenge. There is not adequate sleeping place. There is not adequate place to eat. And there may not even be adequate classrooms. But I would rather my cousin, I tell you, I have a cousin now who lives in Akrusu, whose son has gone to Kuragogo. Now, tells me that he would rather his son goes to the school than stay at home.
Now told you that?
Not told me. He's a branch secretary for NDC in Akrusu.
Now you said that, yes.
He would rather his son, it is a choice we have, a very difficult choice. We are not telling Ghanaians it's a bed of roses. We are telling Ghanaians that this is going to cost us a lot of money. We could have just taken the easy path and say, find your own money and go.
But you should also tell Ghanaians that you're not going to remit the allocations on time.
We are remitting to the best of the ability. I am saying that what the lady was talking about was not this year's school fees, so it was arrears. Are we asking who built the arrears?
You're talking nicely before on Kabe's issue, but you've become emotional on this. The thing is that the allocations are not coming as they should. Don't be emotional about it. The allocations are not coming. The
allocations are gone. We have paid I said they are.
And the schools are suffering at the same time. It just doesn't synchronize this communication.
Roland.
Yes, sir.
This is the first time we are hearing that there have been challenges. You, as you sit here, is your budget, is your income and expenditure, are they meeting?
No, they don't.
Why are we pretending as if, why? Is it the first time we are having challenges? We are saying that even the challenges will be heightened. But a determined leader says, in spite of the heightened challenges, we will do this. Let's not anybody underestimate our resolve. His Excellency the President is clear in his mind that the way for national development is this way.
Mr. Chairman Teja, you are not by any way through this communication saying that it is the observation and the opinion of those who are raising these concerns that the program should stop, is it? That's not what.
I think some people are ridiculing. Some people are sitting back and say, we told you that it is not possible. Some people are saying, we told you that.
Well, somebody will say, for God's sake, you're getting yourself immune to criticism.
No, we are not. I am the first person admitting that there are challenges.
Yes.
I have stated, I am not saying school. I have stated Kuragogo Secondary School, Senior High School. It is evident the challenge is there. There's a challenge of inadequate. There's a challenge of inadequate dormitory. There's a challenge of inadequate sleeping place. There are challenges. I am the first person to admit. But I am saying, Roland, that in spite of the challenges, 50%, half a loaf is better than no bread.
I agree.
For Nasan,
I agree.
Who comes from Akrusu, is happy for his son to go through those challenges.
And now is the constituency secretary.
He's the branch secretary.
Branch secretary for NDC.
Yeah.
That's your party. But we do understand that there are these challenges. The woman who raised this, I believe, is not NDC or is not part of the political divide. Yesterday, I had the Member of Parliament for Asin South, and I'll state this. The Reverend Intim Fojo gave me or showed me text messages which were indicating suppliers, for example, were sending supplies, but the schools were refusing. And he had the number of those concerns raised in his constituency and the central region. Ultimately, he drew the conclusion that perhaps there were pockets of heads who were either related to the other side of the political divide or wanted the program to fail.
Let's not discount that at all.
Yeah. And so he was not discounting all those.
Roland, I'm not surprised my brother is very passionate about this, but I would just
it's a passionate program by the president. So if the president is raising this,
I just want to say that, yes, everybody in this country, our constitution has statutorily stated that will try as much as possible as a country, as a people, to provide for free education from the basic to the secondary level. It's the implementation of that program that need policy decisions to be taken. And in making a policy, you go through a process. We call it policy making. You have to be able to examine the consequences of the policy, budget, everything, sustainable source of revenue to support the program, and all these things are put into place. I believe seriously that all the people who cautioned about fast-tracking this policy did that in good faith. And I will mention somebody like Dr. Adokufo. Not the only person, 2, 3 others who are not NDC. They are strong MPP, but they did caution. Nobody says we should not have free education. But we started with the issue of progressively free education. We started with the issue of reducing the cost burden on parents by providing facilities first, so that when you are expanding or escalating the policy, you will not have the steep challenges we are having today. 2, challenges in management of schools have been with us. No one will run away from it. But the gargantuan nature of the challenges today is what is making the Council of Heads of Assisted Secondary Schools desperate and frustrated. Ron, you and I will bear witness that when students go to the dining hall and the food is not even tasty, their reaction is unimaginable, let alone they not having food to eat. Can you believe what the reaction will be? I've seen a school, students have gone a demonstration, burning government public property.
But that's indiscipline.
Just because of food. I'm telling you, when it gets to that level, the madness sets in.
But that's indiscipline.
So the Council of Heads of Assistant Schools are preempting situations that will lead students to react in such manners as they did in the past.
That's indiscipline. You can't say that.
That is indiscipline, I'm telling you. But then you are aware. Don't behave as if you've never been a student before and you never led the chorus.
I was part of the chorus.
Yes. Aluta.
Yes. I was part of the chorus.
Thank you very much.
3. Yes.
Thank you very much. So I will want to situate the argument on the caution of the Ghana Education Service. I agree totally that in the public service and the civil service, there are always channels of addressing problems. And I would say the heads of institutions must respect the laid down procedures and channels of addressing these problems. Fine. But then, desperate situations sometimes make people take desperate decisions and do desperate things.
And you think these are some of the desperate
seriously,
situations? I'm
telling you. Because from what, if I listen to what Amakutufo said and relate it to what the president of the Council of Heads of Assistant Schools is saying today, it tells me that situations in the secondary schools are very there.
In some of the secondary schools.
In some of the secondary schools, fine.
But
then I went to First Pim. I went to First Pim last 2 weeks.
Oh, how?
I'm telling you.
And they have problems.
I'm telling you. I went to speech day. And Roland, the pressure on facilities, immense.
But the vice president was there.
The vice president was
there. Is it very new?
And in Fanspim is new.
I don't think so.
In Fanspim is new.
College where I went to, even the common rooms we used to have been converted to dormitories 10 years ago.
Because you have new facilities for common rooms.
No, there are no common rooms now.
Oh, no. How?
Look,
the school has decided teachers don't need common rooms.
In my constituency, Holy Trinity Cathedral Secondary School.
The one just by the high street.
Yes. From here, take your cameras there.
What's happening?
The number of students
is a day school.
So huge
it's
that
a day school.
Now they've converted their old bus into a classroom.
Oh, how?
I'm telling you.
Oh, how?
I'm telling you.
So don't say
when was this?
I'm a living witness to it. I'm telling you.
A school bus.
Oh, God.
You mean temporarily they conduct some exercises?
Yes. Go there. Let the cameras go there now. The bishop himself has complained about it. The Anglican bishop has complained about it.
He's not using lay-down procedures?
So what I'm saying is that...
It came to you?
Yes. As the member of parliament, what can I do in order to assist?
So what have we done to assist
there's
him?
pressure on all of us.
Okay.
And I'm happy my brother mentioned...
Mr. Nigel Vanderpoint, let me cut you short. Do you agree that the program is a good one?
Yes.
Okay. So
why did Mahama government start it?
Okay, great.
If it's not a good one.
Okay, great.
What did Mahama government start?
Mahama government started the progressive higher education.
Sir,
we reduced the fees burden. We struck out some of the fees.
And not even those ones, the bursaries, they are not being paid. The minister said they
even the bursaries were not paid.
Well, no, the minister said the Akufo-Addo government is not going to pay them.
Yeah, they said they're going to pay it. Okay. You have decided not to pay it.
Yes, sir. Okay, but let me say this. At the end of the day, you agree that there will be teething challenges.
Immense.
Okay. But you agree,
because the way the program is implemented.
Agree, if we want to make sure we develop to the next level, the literacy level needs to be breached.
Yes.
Okay.
Why not?
So you agree, if the existing challenges of old were pervasive, then we're not going to meet that level of literacy gap in terms of bridging.
Yeah, and you think this one will bridge the gap?
Well, it's better we have a lot more people in school than not out of school. And give
when you have a lot more people
and give their excuse that if they get into school, they're going to sleep on classroom.
When you have a lot more people who cannot have the right environment for education, it's like they're sitting at home.
It's not true.
I'm telling you.
It's not true.
If people are standing on the veranda, no, you see, if a half a loaf and that half a loaf is rotten,
it's not true. It's not true.
If that half loaf is rotten, what impact will it make?
Well, I get your point.
I'm saying that we all support the program, but I'm saying that as a people, we must look at how we can immediately address. Because when I even read the budget, I don't see any concrete evidence in the budget. I don't see any concrete evidence. Tell me the concrete evidence in the budget that shows that we're going to address the challenges of infrastructure. Tell me.
But you guys built 200 secondary schools. You have addressed the problem. You've told the Ghanaians that you have addressed.
We said we are addressing. We are addressing.
You didn't build 200 schools.
We say we are addressing.
Didn't you build 200 schools?
I'm saying we say we are addressing.
Didn't you
build 200 schools? I'm saying that yes. I'm saying that we are addressing. Our intention is to address the problem, and that one when you have
so you are worried about the commitment to address the problem.
Yes. The commitment to address the problem is not shown because it's not just a matter of feeding. There are serious infrastructure problems. There are serious, let me say, problems that have to do with human resource. Even human resource is expanding. So I would say that, yes, these are challenges as a country. We all have to brace them, whether we like it or not. Our government of the day has decided that this is the way we should go. We all have to support it. But in supporting it, we should make the conscious effort of taking along everybody and stop politicizing it. I'm very sure what the State Assembly South MP said can never. I have this from a mate of mine. I have this from a junior of mine, but who teaches in a school I am very close to. But he says that it's true. What the Assembly South MP said yesterday, and what the Honourable Member Chairman T is saying are true. Some heads are playing politics with the supplies. Okay, he's a teacher in a secondary school. I will not mention any more the secondary school. Let me say this. Is he not very political himself?
I think so.
Roland.
So you Roland. Think so? So what are you talking about?
Roland.
I think so.
Like many of the first and foremost.
I'll give you only 2 minutes. How do we resolve the challenges? Are we committed to resolving the challenges?
I think that we are committed to resolving the challenges. I think that this government has shown clearly, without equivocation, that it will resolve. Roland, I want to emphasize again that nobody is sweeping the matter under the carpet. It is evident there are challenges. I want to state that these challenges didn't start yesterday. When I was in primary college, the total student population was 600. The last time I asked 2 years ago, it was approaching 3,000. This was a secondary school that was built for maybe 600 people, optimum.
But we have added infrastructure.
Added infrastructure.
Be that as it may. Today,
the Ghana's population is more.
I was today, a witness to Professor Mills' time when we went to Prempeh College and inaugurated the infrastructure.
Thank you very much.
I am saying you build one block house, and you say that you have. I say that. Have you? If you told me that we are building.
So you're saying that, for example, even those schools are bursting at the seams.
I am saying that 10 years ago,
are you committed to
7
improving
years
the challenges?
ago, they were bursting at the seams. I'm the first to admit that an addition of 100,000 spread over the 600 or 700 will create
challenges.
Will create. The challenges were serious already. we will heighten an already serious. But I am saying without equivocation,
it doesn't override the need for education.
See, Ronald, for example, one of the issues that the Conference of Health Assessment are talking about, they were giving only 20% of what is due for this academic term. And then they were promised that when they have sent the returns of students, look.
Are you sure the allocations haven't gone?
No.
The
second installment hasn't gone because the education service says that they have not, all of schools have not sent their returns. But the issue is that when almost every day you keep on adding students.
Is that the situation?
No, yes.
Right now.
No. The students who were not placed are being added.
But listen, we all know.
They don't
filing for returns and in our corporate institutions, when let's say you need to file for and make provisions for, you can do that whilst you have some in lieu. You can do that.
Now they are using the fees of the continuing students to manage.
Who told you that?
That's what the woman said.
Oh, how?
That's what the woman said.
No, I read what she said.
And you didn't see that. And you didn't say that. You didn't see that.
I saw it.
You saw it. So why
the woman's comment is under dispute.
How?
But you see the
president of the Conference of Health Assessment Schools said what the heads of assessment schools have told her.
Okay. All right.
So she's reporting what the conference.
Let every head of school send their returns.
No, and I want to caution. I'm cautioning Roland. The tendency to intimidate heads of institutions.
You think that's what's going on?
Oh yes, some of them are being removed, are being sacked.
You think
they are being sacked.
You think government is intimidating?
It's the same thing. If you don't use a proper channel,
they are being sacked and all those things because of this.
You think government
didn't use a proper channel? Did you look at them and smile?
No.
Didn't you suspend people? Didn't you query people?
You see, yes, but then it's
you are the first person who is agreeing that there are laid down channels to do things in the civil service.
I agree.
If you use the laid down channel, nobody will
not have a problem. All right, but my time is up. I wanted to look at Otumfuo slamming Delta Force judgment.
It's very important.
Oh no, but I don't have.
It's very important.
But if I can give you only 5 minutes,
there's something Otumfuo said that is significant to me.
What did he say?
That somebody go to steal a finger of plantain.
You give him 15 years.
He's fined maybe 2,000 cedis and also jail term of about 6 months. Then somebody actually terrorizes a judge.
In their home?
Bomb
blast? Was there a bomb blast?
But what they did is worse than...
You mean the invasion of the court in
invasion of Afghanistan?
Or sit on radio and
somebody sits on radio and even verbally, he goes to jail. You understand?
That threatens...
yes, it goes to jail. And then somebody...
You're talking about the Muntie case?
Yes. And then somebody invades... Somebody invades...
Did you sign the book of condolence?
Which one? Which book of condolence?
Oh, no. The support. Is it support?
The Muntie 3. I did support.
Okay, so you're supporting...
I did support, but I didn't sign the document.
Oh, you didn't sign.
I did support them.
Okay.
I did support.
Okay.
You see, I'm saying that what Otumfuo says is the right... Look, you know something? I had a very bad experience some time ago.
It's only 2 minutes.
Former boxer Rocky Comic was knocked down and killed by a throttle driver who was using unapproved road. You understand? The throttle driver was given 2 years.
Yeah.
Somebody accidentally, recently, a case we're discussing. It was made by this NGO that is fighting injustices and his own daughter. He was drunk, the baby was crying, and he picked the baby. And apparently he fell on the staircase and the baby died.
Dropped the baby?
Yes, baby died.
But you're saying it's manslaughter?
He spent 25 years.
Manslaughter?
25 years. He spent 25 years. So these judgments definitely make people believe that sometimes justice is not served in our society.
All right, let's wrap up. Let's wrap up. My time is up. You wanted to say something about it? It's a societal appeal, more like.
Yeah,
I think we have to take it from the point of the societal appeal.
Yeah,
instead of trying to politicize
the issue. No. But the Otunfo is not. It's Otunfo politicizing.
He's trying to be a lawyer.
He's in the faculty.
I speak as a
just like Mama View.
That's how you lawyers say it. Yes. I speak as a reasonable man, the man walking in the streets of Balishi. Sometimes it is difficult. Some of the judgments are rendered.
Sometimes surprises you.
Yeah.
I think it's something that all of us are surprised about. I don't think
but there was this little bit about cancel PPAs. There's no time to talk about it.
Cancel
PPAs.
Oh, the power purchase agreement.
They signed the PPAs like.
Okay, so we have to. And Emmanuel Tremantinge Japu is a member of Parliament for Ayawaso West Wagon.
Those things came to Parliament.
But you have no projections.
And Neil Ante van der Poel is a member of Parliament for the Diodio constituency. But we still have the Book of Condolence. We're going to take this back to the reception of Joy FM. So just in case you're an organization, an individual, you want to pass by, sign this Book of Condolence, please do. You can also go to the house of Kappa, Kwejo Asare, Bafwe Champong. And please make sure that you do the needful. We have to take a break. We'll be right back.